do you remember parent was thoughts, feelings and behaviours copied from childhood. But with child, it's thoughts, feelings and behaviours replayed from childhood. So when we're an adult and grown up, it's as if we're replaying our childhood when we get into child. Again, we've got positive and negative, and I'll explain. And again, there are different parts of child. So the one I'll start with, I call it adapted and rebellious. But some people, when they do TA, they just call it adapted because they do adapted, positive and negative. But I call it adapted, and some people do. Of course, I was taught like this. Adapted child and rebellious child. I'll start with adapted child. It's quite easy. Here she is, or he is. They're nice little guys. Yeah, they do as they're told, basically. They've worked out that if they do as they're told, life is better for them. If they do what mum says, yeah, life's better. Yeah, if they do, they adapt. They adapt to the parent. They fathom what the parent wants and they do it. Simple as. They adapt to the parent. Let me get my notes, just make sure I'm not missing anything out. Yeah, so they're polite to neighbours. They use a hanky if they need to wipe their nose. I worked out that my dad wanted me to be quiet. When he came home from work, if the children were quiet, life was happy. He had a quiet little time. Mum always said, oh, Daddy's coming home, be quiet. So I did. I was. Yeah, I worked out. I maybe didn't realise I was working out, but that's what I did. I adapted to what my parents wanted. Now, as a grown-up, I might replay that. And I might fit in with what other people want. Yeah, so if I come across, remember that controlling parent, you should or you ought must, but in my adult state, in my grown-up state, I might think, oh yeah, I should, oh yeah, I ought to, I'd be terribly naughty if I didn't. But those are outdated ways of thinking, feeling and behaving. They're outdated. Why? Because I'm a grown-up now. I can think for myself. I can think if I want to, should, ought, must. I can think if it's suitable. But if I go straight into child, I do, yeah, oh, okay, I will. Can you see that? So I'm in answer to that controlling parent. The adapted child. We also have the rebellious child. And this is the best thing I can see. This is what I found for rebellious child. Yeah, you can see what I'm getting at. So when controlling parent, or when my parent figures, my grown-ups that were around me said, you should or must, I said, shan't. Simple as that. Not going to. No. It's interesting. We often laugh because Pete's what I call my default system. It's one, he just goes naturally to it. Shan't. He can't help himself, even if he wants to. The first thing he says is shan't. He was asleep last night and he was watching a programme and I was knitting away and I knew he wanted to watch it. So I just gently said, Pete, you're asleep. Your eyes are closed, your mouth's open, and his head was like that. And he promptly opened his eyes and said, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I thought, yes, you were. You can't just say, oh, thanks for waking me up. Yes, I was. No, I wasn't. I said, but your head was on one side. He said, do you know what he said? I was looking over there. I mean, how ridiculous is that? It's just his natural default system. And you know, when I first met him, I really loved that about him. I thought, I wish I could do that because this was me. Yeah, I said, okay, will do. Oh, sorry, I'd have said if somebody woke me up. Oh, sorry, silly me. Can you see that? Adapted child, rebellious child. Now, he might feel a little bit stronger in rebellious child, and that's what I always thought. And with clients, if they realised they were an adapted child and then they changed and they came in and they said, I said shan't. Well, really, they weren't any better because, let me get parent. Because they're still in answer to parent. You should, you ought, you must. Oh, yes, I will. You should, you ought, you must. Oh, no, I won't. They're not thinking for themselves. Can you see that? There's another part to child as well. There's free child. I'm going to get in free child this afternoon after doing this. I've already got it planned. I'm going out for a long walk along the sea because finally it's stopped raining. Yeah, I want to. Have I got the time? Yes. Have I got the resources? Yes. Will it do me good? Yes. I'm getting into my free child. I might go for a paddle even if I fancy it. Free child. And it's what we all need to get into. Choosing for ourselves to be in that childlike state. However, free child has got a negative too. I call it the legless free child. Because do you know what? That's when I might go out. I might go to a party. How fun, how lovely. But then I overstep the mark and I get a little bit, I go too far. So that's when free child goes a bit too far. I might decide to go out for a walk along the sea. I've got the resources, I've got the time, and I'm going to get into free child. But if I decide to strip off and dive in just because I can and I want to, I could go too far. So this is the free child we want to be. This is the child we want to get into in our adult state. As my grown-up state, I want to employ this child, but I need to recognise when I'm in this one. I need to recognise when I'm in this one, when I'm in this one, or when I'm in this one. And this is the one I want to be. Just enjoy myself because I can. So that's the child ego state. So I'll leave it there with child, and I hope you can identify your thoughts, feelings and behaviours maybe when you were in child.